Hey, what's up guys? Wanted to make a quick video today, talk about my Oris Aquis Upcycle model. I'm attempting to do this in one take because my video editing software is not very good, or I'm not very good with it. So excuse any imperfections here. But I just wanted to show this watch off and give some quick discussion points about it. I previously had owned one of the green bracelet models of the Aquis. I made a video on that actually last year. And I wore that a lot over the years, or the 1 year, year and a half that I had it. And I really liked that watch, and I really like the Aquis family. The bracelet that I had was a 43.5mm model, and it sat very large. It was also the previous generation of the Aquis model, and this one here is the newer 2024 and up model. And so there have been some improvements that have slimmed down the case a little bit, and I think improved the watch overall. So I wanted to try something different. The green one was just a little too big and a little too loud for kind of daily wear, and I wanted something that I could wear casually in the summertime and then also wear with some kind of, office attire, and I thought this fit the bill. So I picked it up and have been wearing it some, and I've been really enjoying it. So if you're not familiar, the Upcycle model, named for its dial here, is made of recycled ocean plastics. So Oris partners with some diving companies where they go out and they get this themselves, but they basically go into the waters and will take out trash, essentially, bring it out, melt it down onto a dial, and this is what the result that you get. So each one of these, because of this process, is actually going to be a unique kind of 1 out of 1 dial. Also, because of that, if you're interested in buying one of these, I would recommend maybe just emailing or trying to see an AD or a dealer in person. But if you're not in person, or if you can't get to one of these in person, send some emails, if you're interested in buying one. That's what I did, and I actually did that with my bracelet model as well. And I just said, hey, if you guys have a couple of these models in stock, do you mind sending me some photos of them so that I can look at the different dials and kind of pick one that I like? And they were very accommodating. I ended up purchasing this watch. I think the company was called Watches and Beyond, I believe is the name. Retail on these guys is right around $2,800 or $2,900 or so at this point. This is with the Solida model in here, so not the Oris in-house caliber 400. Cheaper option. I think I paid about $1,600 for this watch. It was new from this gray market type dealer, and I've been really happy with it. It was the best price that I could find on this model. Again, this is the newer model. When I say newer model, there have been some changes that were introduced to the Aquis line in 2024. I think it was 2024. Recently, I'll say that. So a couple of things that they've done. One is they have slimmed the case size down by a little bit. They have changed the text on the dial. So I don't know if you could really tell, especially on this Upcycle model, it's hard to tell. But Aquis, pressure resistant, you get all the text on there. That's been updated. The handsets have been made a little bit crisper. I think there's some minor updates to those as well. The bezel on this guy is different. So if you look at the older Upcycle models, I think the gray was a little bit lighter. It's been modified to this kind of darker tungsten, almost like a gunmetal matte gray color with the painted and engraved white numerals on there. The lugs have been reshaped a little bit, so they taper a little more aggressively. They kind of roll into the bracelet here. The bracelet itself has been improved upon, or at least changed. The clasp, I think, is much better. So compared to my previous one, this one has this nicer kind of finishing on the sides. It's a little bit shorter, so it doesn't sit as long on the wrist. And then the bracelet, the integrated bracelet that the Aquis comes with, has been modified a little bit. It's been rounded a little more. You still get those polished outer links and the brushed inner links, but these have this kind of, I don't know what you call it. It's like almost like a triangular shape on the inside. So it gives it some texture. It plays with the light. Some people don't like this. I mean, it really depends on where you fall. I'm not one who's really like, I've got to have a tool watch and it's got to look like a tool. It's jewelry. And so for me, I think having a little bit of a bling, if you will, is fine. And I don't think the watch is too over the top. Again, the gray bezel kind of gives it a subdued look, especially in contrast with that dial that stands out a little bit more. And I think this dial is cool. As far as the Upcycle models go, it's not too in your face. Some of these you'll find have some bright yellows and some crazy colors. So you can really, and there's actually some yellow on mine here. It's a mixed bag for sure. So depending on kind of what you like, again, it's important to look at these dials first if you can before kind of blind buying, because Some of them are a little more kind of all over the place, like this one in terms of the design. Some of them are more striped. They kind of have a cloud-like pattern to them. There's also, this is the 41.5 millimeter size, which is kind of the medium size. You can go larger. I believe this one's offered now in a 43.5, and there's a smaller one as well. This is a unisex watch, but there's kind of a smaller women's version. I believe that's 36-ish millimeters. And those tend to be a little bit more pastel in color. So I don't know if that's just because, you know, they're kind of more women geared for the smaller size, but the ones that I've seen that are that smaller millimeter case size, you tend to see a lot more pastel blues, kind of pinks in the dial, whereas these larger ones come with this kind of more black, gray, red, a darker hue colorway. So take a look, you know, see what you like. There's a lot of variety with these. I will put it on my wrist here, attach this so you can see what it looks like. My wrist is about, and I apologize for the bad angle here, I don't exactly have a professional setup here. My wrist is about 6.75 inches, I would say. And again, this is the 41.5 millimeter. With any of the Aquis models though, in terms of size, I would say just mentally shave, you know, 2 millimeters off that case size, the publisher case size, because they wear quite small. They wear smaller than their size would suggest, because these lugs are integrated, they do taper a good bit. The watch itself is really just a circle. So it just kind of sits on the wrist. And this one I think looks more like, say, a 39 millimeter would look. Side crown here, that's pretty nice. It does screw down. Again, this is the Solita based movement. It's got the red rotor in there, as I think all Orises do. Depending on whether your preference is the caliber 400 or not, you know, I mean, that's something you'll have to decide. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention too, the date wheel now is color matched. So on the older ones, if you're ever unsure of, hey, is this kind of the previous model or the new ones, take a look at the date wheel. The previous Aquis models all had white date wheels, and then now they're all color matched to the dial. Of course, color matching to this is kind of a fool's errand given the nature of the dial itself. So they're just sort of this gray color, but yeah, it does blend in. So yeah, that's pretty much the Upcycle. I like it a lot. What I was going to say with regards to the caliber 400, you know, it's really up to you which way you want to go. Caliber 400 is a really nice movement. I think it has a 10-year service interval. So, you know, Oris is really standing by that in terms of the, excuse me, the robustness of that movement there. It is more expensive. I think there's anywhere from like a $1,000 to $2,000 premium. And to me, it just isn't really worth it because I'm not a big movement chasing kind of guy. I like the watch. I like that it's robust. I like with the Solita based movement that I can take this to a watchmaker if I needed to, and I could get parts, I could have them repair it. The caliber 400 is really going to be serviceable by Oris only, and I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that gray market purchases can be an issue for those, with Oris not wanting to work on or provide parts for a watch that wasn't purchased through them for the caliber 400 movement. So I don't have any experience purchasing, you know, owning, servicing that movement. But it's kind of up to you if you decide to, you know, go more luxury watch territory with this and spend that extra money. My take really is just, you know, save the cash. I mean, you could almost buy 2 of these for the price of one of the caliber 400s, at least at retail. So it's a great watch either way. Can't go wrong with it. Maybe a little bezel action here. Bezel's great. It's got this overhang on there, so it's very easy to grip, even with wet hands. Sapphire crystal, you know, on the front, you've got the text on the back that mentions that. I think the back crystal may be mineral. I'm not sure if that's actually sapphire or not. The lume is pretty good, and it does light up pretty well in the dark. The only real drawback, I think, to this Upcycle dial is that, you know, you sacrifice a little bit of legibility, obviously, with the nature of this kind of randomized pattern, but the hands, or the, sorry, not the hand, well, yeah, the hands, but the indices as well here, you can see they've kind of got this shiny silver outline to them. So especially in the sunlight, I don't think that checking the time has been made any more difficult based on this dial pattern. But it's definitely a choice. Some people are really not going to like this, and if that's the case, then the good news with Oris is you have a ton of colorways to pick from. There's all kinds of cool summery colors. They've got blues and pinks and greens. You can get a black one and have it look really dressy. So the Aquis family is large. There's a lot of different styles represented here at different price points. I think they still have the Aquis Professional, which is, you know, much more expensive, but is a, you know, deep sea kind of thicker diving watch. So They're really cool watches. I like Oris. It's an independent company. They make kind of these, enthusiast-based watches. And if you can get one of these at a good price, I think it's definitely worth it. At retail, it's tough to say just because there's so much in that, $2,000-3,000 segment now. There's micro brands. I mean, you've got the used market. So really a lot to pick from. But this is my second Oris now. I like this one a lot. I think it sits really well on the wrist. I think it fits good. It looks good. And I'm really happy with it. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and thanks for watching.